I was browsing through a free Facebook group that I'm a part of, and I came across this really interesting and controversial post about when you're ready to launch an online course in your business. Here's what he had to say. This is probably going to be an unpopular post, but it needs to be said, ... Stop worrying about the following: sales funnel, evergreen systems, and creating online courses if you have not made over $50K a month consistently. That means you are not building a big enough demand yet. While I don't necessarily agree that you need to be making $50,000 a month in your business before you launch an online course, there are certain benchmarks that if you hit them will make your course profitable faster, as well as make your launches way more successful. And for the time and money investment that you have to make to launch, it's totally worth it to check out what it takes and where your business needs to be before you launch your first online course. I still remember coming out hot of my first online business program in 2014 and jumping straight into the course world. I had been a virtual assistant for a couple of years and I thought I knew my stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I can totally package that into a course. I had a list size of about 20 people. I put on a webinar and it was a total flop. I still think the idea is valid and I might launch it someday, but there's definitely certain benchmarks that, had I had them in place, would have guaranteed the success of that launch and that course, and it could have taken off from there. So today I want to share a couple tips with you of how you can know if you're in the right spot to be ready to launch a course or a leveraged product or a program, whatever you want to call this. You want to make sure that you have some of these metrics ticked off so that you can ensure that all the time, all the money you're going to spend on Facebook ads and things like that is really going to be valuable and will pay off at the end of the launch. You don't want to invest 3 months of a runway to launch and then have nothing at the end to show for it. So the first thing that you need to be in your business to launch a course is consistent. And I know this is a word that gets thrown out there a lot, but if you aren't sending a newsletter every week, if you're not consistent on your social media channels, or even if you've just chosen one channel to be on, you need to be posting consistently, because this is going to be that know, like, and trust factor that is essential for anyone to want to purchase something from you. You need to be consistent from the beginning of your business, but especially if you're thinking about launching a course in the next couple of months, consistency now is going to be more key than ever before to really be taken seriously, for people to know, like, and trust you and believe that you're going to be around here when you say lifetime access to a course, that it's not going to go away in 6 months, that it's really going to be lifetime. So if you can get consistent now, that will guarantee that your launch is more successful than if you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants for now because you're busy or because you're also working a full-time job. You need to be consistent if you want to launch a course in the next couple months. So the next metric that it's really important to hit is to have at least 100 highly targeted leads on your email list. This doesn't mean 100 total. It could mean that you actually need a couple hundred, but you want 100 people who are really your ideal type of client. They're in the right industry, they're in the right age range, they like the same kind of things, they're into whatever you're selling or talking about or blogging about. 100 really targeted leads in your email list. So it's okay if you have your mom in there. I have my mom on my email list, but you want to make sure that you have at least 100 who are really your ideal clients. And you can do a little bit of research by typing their emails into Facebook and checking out their profile or reaching out and connecting to them. So that's a really great process to do as well. We'll talk about that in another episode. But really, 100 targeted leads. There's a couple reasons that this is important. One, 100 really targeted leads who might be willing to buy from you when you say go. If we're talking about a program that's priced under $1,000, you could be looking at a 5% conversion rate, which would mean 20 people would be in your first launch, which is a big success. However, if you have less than that, the number keeps dwindling down. Another really important list, you want at least 100 really targeted people on your list, is so that you can create a lookalike audience on Facebook. And what this is Facebook allows you to upload your email list, and they even have a direct sync with MailChimp if you use MailChimp. And from there, it will pull other people on Facebook who have similar interests to that person. And so if they're highly targeted, The ones that Facebook will find will be really highly targeted. If you have your mom, your grandma, your friends, and you've got all these other people, even if it amasses to 500, but none of them are your ideal client, creating that lookalike audience does you nothing. And that lookalike audience is your best bet for the cheapest and best converting ads when you're running your webinar or your 3-part video series or your challenge leading up to your launch. So get your list to 100 really targeted leads, and then you'll be ready to launch your course after that. And so the third and final tip I want to give you to know if you are ready to launch an online course is that while you don't have to be booking $50K in sales a month as a one-to-one service provider or with your product or other offerings, you do need to be booking yourself out. You do need to have proof of sale. You do need to have proof of message that when people get on a call with you, what you're saying is resonating. I would say you need to have had at least 20 one-to-one clients or close contact with clients so that you can pick up their client language and what they really need and what are their pain points in order to have a successful launch. If you haven't had 20 one-to-one clients to work on this area or one of the areas in their life or business or personal relationships, then you don't have enough experience with a mass number of people to see what was the one element that they all struggled with. And that's what you're looking for when you're launching a course, is what was something that you had to teach all 20 people, and that's going to be the perfect idea for your course. And again, you won't know what that is if you haven't had enough people. I was speaking to a person the other day who said, oh, we've really struggled to book our one-to-one services, so we thought launching a course would be the next good idea so that the price point can be lower. But what's actually the problem is that they're either not targeting the right people or their message isn't converting. So when you take that to a course, it's not going to make it any better. What they really need to do is work on getting those one-to-one services booked first. At least 20 clients, I would say. If you want more, I think that's only better. But if you can at least get 20 one-to-one clients to work with you, you will have enough information to launch a really successful online course. And if you're struggling with getting booked solid or getting your first 20 one-to-one clients, I want to tell you about a webinar that my friend Jenny Shih is having next week, and I'll include the link to sign up below. And she is going to walk you through a proven process of really getting you booked solid with one-to-one people and getting clear on that message. So if you're already consistent, if you've already got your 100 targeted leads, but you need some help booking out, I highly suggest signing up for that. And if you already have all three of consistent 100 targeted leads and 20 clients plus, then great, you are ready to launch an online course, and it will be a very successful use of your time, and you will have a great launch. And I'd love to help you with that. If you want, you can book a strategy call with me below as well to talk about what would be your ideal launch strategy. But if you're not quite there yet, again, work on being consistent, even if you have a full-time job still. Get those 100 really targeted leads, not just your mom, and then get at least 20 one-to-one clients so you can really become familiar with their pain problems and their really dire needs that are needed to be solved with a course idea. So I hope that these tips are helpful and will keep you from having a big first launch flop like I did, and instead will make you have some really fun targets to shoot for and work for in your business in order to have a very successful launch. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you next week.